They are astounded by how clearly and strongly you set your boundaries. They are envious of your creativity, your accomplishments, and most importantly, your demeanor. Cutting connections with them without considering your relationship sparks a volcano of collected rage within them. Meanwhile, you stand firm and unshaken like a mountain, despite all these internal eruptions. The sea is continually swelling. Anger and disillusionment develop in waves. Whenever they concentrate on you, their animosity seeps into your veins like poison, devouring every ounce of peace inside you. As predators, their minds are always seeking sustenance, but you refuse to give up your peace to their claws. This preoccupation draws them into a quagmire from which they cannot emerge. While you stay comfortably beyond this darkness, at a safe distance, they are drowning in the waves of madness erupting within them. No matter how intense the storm, you stand solid among the waves like a coral reef. They assault you with rage and hatred. However, these attacks are rendered ineffective when they strike the invisible energy shield you've created around yourself. Beyond the tumult, they have ripped apart. You live atop the mountains, above the clouds. You observe what's going on in the dirty waters below. However, you do not allow yourself to be drawn into that mud. Their negative energy returns without touching you since, rather than absorbing it, you reflected it back like a mirror. Their obsession leads them into a quagmire from which they cannot escape. While you remain beyond this darkness, keeping a safe distance while they are drowned in the turbulent waves within, you shine like a beacon in the darkness. The storms roar on, but you are unshaken. Anchored in your tranquility, any changing emotions directed at you fade before they reach you, as if the air around you is too clean to hold their malice. As a result, while others continue to drown in the poisonous well they have dug, you stay strong and tranquil, like a mountain, a beacon providing protection amidst their chaos. You stand steady because you understand a profound reality. Their pandemonium cannot damage you. You have created an inner tranquility that prevents their chaos from reaching you as they burn with rage. You continue to arrive amid the stillness of the river. You have constructed the tallest walls around you, so high that even storms cannot penetrate them. Your silence now functions as a steadfast and unbreakable shield. The relationships that once existed have been reduced to ash, and you discover serenity far beyond their angry voices. Even as they take each step toward you, they only find nothingness. As they try to grasp something, their palms are filled with frigid air. You have severed relationships and isolated yourself from the pandemonium, finding tremendous peace in this separation. Whatever others say or feel no longer affects you. The walls you've built around yourself are like a stone castle. Their disappointments break against this castle and retreat like waves, realizing they can no longer govern you. You can feel their mounting desperation. However, these disappointments cannot bring you inner peace. They remain vulnerable when you cut relationships and separate yourself. They become increasingly unreachable. Their attempts to return to you are futile while they are trapped in a cycle burdened by the weight of past. You live far beyond the storms they've produced. Every expected reaction is greeted with your steadfast quiet. Your limits are as strong as steel, sculpted by the power of your decisions and the calm that comes from prioritizing yourself. Each provocation they attempt simply fills the gap with their own echoes. Like a mirror, you only reflect your silence to them, and this quiet causes them the most agony, no matter how angry they get. As if the wind were to strike a mountain, they can't move you. Your silence becomes stronger with each passing day, as does the distance between you. Their attempts to reach you deteriorate worse. The disappointments they carry become a hefty burden to bear. When you realize that their rage cannot affect your inner peace, you can anchor yourself in it. Your limits are no longer just protective, they are also a clear vow that you will not return to their disarray. You've claimed your own space, and their influence is no longer felt within it. Their pride was the final trump card against you, and the instant you cut that tie, you increased your status. While others are crushed by their own disappointments, you have already moved forward. They have expertly crafted an illusion, a web wrapped with allure and braided with deception. On the surface, everything appears sincere. Every glance and grin is a carefully crafted trap. Their remarks appear trustworthy, but each is obscured by a cloak of fake loyalty. They boldly showcase their fabricated virtues while expertly disguising their actual faces. They talk about loyalty, yet what they say is only an empty echo. They wear a facade of trustworthiness. However, beneath the surface is a heart full of malice and betrayal. They appear nice, but this is only a mask for the vicious games of manipulation. Cracks in their masks are no longer escape your attention. The oozing toxic reality permeates everything. Now you can see that their loyalty is nothing more than an empty falsehood wrapped in nice words, with hollow promises inside. When they talk about loyalty, you can tell they're creating webs of betrayal with every step, and each thread is a lie knot. You may now see the reality behind their masks in all its nakedness, behind their fabricated facades. Lies are merely beings pursuing their own goals while spreading poison. Their machinations have evolved from a subtle game to more blatant actions, leaving emotional wounds of betrayal. However, you refuse to be corrupted by this venom. You've already deciphered the game they play. Every movement they make is predictable, like waves rising in the sea. They believe in their own cunning. But you've uncovered their masks and revealed the degradation beneath. You will no longer allow their poison into your life. The twisted truths they give have no impact on you. You've recognized the phony face behind the mask and distanced yourself from those shadows. No matter how hard they try to maintain their illusions, the curtain has already fallen and their games are over. You have seen through their techniques and clearly understand the truth. Thus, you will never participate in this game. They may continue to deceive others, but you have already gone beyond their reach. You've built your own sanctuary that keeps their crazy world of lies and manipulation from re-entering your life. Instead of being lost in their shadows, you stand in your own light, which they can never dull since your power is not theirs. It is completely yours. Inside you flames a continually exploding volcano of power, ready to heal the wounds of others through compassion. This ability radiates like warmth, enveloping others around you with profound empathy. However, beneath this compassion comes a powerful inner core. You are not easily duped. You read people as if they were pages from a book, and your intuition is like a sharp knife piercing through lies. You can obviously understand the genuine intentions. They hide behind masks. The darkness of falsehood pervades your innermost being. Like a light, they have nowhere to hide. You immediately notice their duplicitous games and never hesitate to plainly define your boundaries. Your benevolence is fashioned by a strong determination, and your drive to keep the peace is totally supported. Empathy does not imply tolerance in all situations. It entails understanding when to set boundaries. When someone exceeds your boundaries, you immediately eliminate them from your life. Similarly, a lighthouse emits light without guiding a storm. In this process, you relieve yourself of unnecessary obligations and proceed on your journey. You fiercely guard your heart because you understand that your peace is holy and that you must be wary of others who seek to disrupt it. You do not concentrate on questions regarding people's intentions. You see the truth and act with unwavering commitment. When someone reveals their true self or attempts to abuse your trust, you dismiss them from your life without hesitation. You are not frightened to let go and separate yourself. You do not need to look back. They may try to return, hiding in the shadows, hoping to re-enter your life, but the door has already been closed. You are now the protector of your own tranquility, and don't let anyone disturb this hallowed sanctuary. Your power comes from being yourself and accepting both empathy and boundaries. You have firmly established your truths, so no one can shake you, while others are lost in their own delusions. You proceed with determination and clarity. You've seen the truth and are firm in your decisions to protect yourself. You have both a loving and warrior spirit. They bravely protect your peace while wearing a phony face to cover their darkness, attempting to emulate the natural light you emit. However, they methodically construct a facade. The power of truth pours through every small fracture in a wall, revealing all. They are nothing but an empty echo of traits they lack, projecting a gleaming and hollow picture on the outside. They create false qualities, possibly even misleading themselves. They hide behind a murky image, believing they are something greater. However, your presence as a saboteur fuels their illusion. Your deeply ingrained identity exposes their facades. You are bound by reality, carrying a heart full of empathy and honesty that is an unstoppable force against their fabricated personas. Your light is not an act or a mask that you wear. It is the core of your being. Empathy is more than just being polite. It originates from a strong and genuine source that benefits everyone around you. This power is something that deception can never achieve. You wear your honesty like a banner, a stance that draws others in and earns their trust without any effort on your behalf. While they seek to create a persona, you simply exist as yourself, open and honest. You don't hesitate to be your authentic self. You proudly chose to be yourself, exposing their hypocrisy in a bright light. The light you possess threatens them because it casts a harsh shadow over their life and obscures their attempts at wrath and manipulation. Clash with your positive energy, emphasizing the differences between you. You provide support and motivation. They are unable to control their mounting wrath because seeing the qualities they lack in you threatens them even more. You're like a magnifying glass. You reveal flaws. They attempt to conceal your presence in the same way that an iceberg exposes everything hidden beneath their deceptions. There is no need to quiet you because your very existence confronts them with their inner emptiness. Your light resembles a real flame. Unlike their artificial glitter, your honesty melts everything fake, and you are sturdy and rooted. They resemble leaves blown by the wind. When you break this relationship, it's as if you've been released from a heavy chain. Your soul now soars freely over the sky like an eagle, unconstrained by the gloomy clouds that once hampered you. Free of their destructive influences, you now tread your path with light steps, growing and progressing. They are fleeing, unsure what to do with their wounded egos, and increasingly agitated as they attempt to make sense of this new environment. They no longer have the ability to manage and bend people to their will, which was once their habit. However, you have broken the chain by firmly removing them from your life. You left no doubts in their wake. Now, all of the tools they knew are failing. They're drifting like captains who've lost their ship's path. Their wrath grows when they realize their efforts to alter you are futile and they can no longer influence you. Reopening old wounds, they who were used to being a shadow in the lives of others have been cast out, and their wrath is boiling. Their objective was to weaken you and make you into a controllable shadow, but instead they were left defenseless in the face of your strength. They were vanquished by your strength. Their attempts to dim your light internally hurt them as their envy rose as they saw their tactics fail to harm or change you. They experienced internal exhaustion. They admired your resistance to their influence rather than your own abilities. You became into an impenetrable barrier. Your light continues to shine as evidence of their failed attempts, enhancing your strength and essence as their hidden intents become apparent. They were compelled to acknowledge their own shortcomings. Their plans had become worthless, hollow shadows. You proceed upon your route. Their arrogance cannot affect you. Your tranquility stays unbroken. Despite their best efforts, they were unable to grab your unshakable light. And this power is completely yours. They continue to persist like a storm, while others seek to the skies for fresh air. They thrive by inhaling turmoil. Drama runs through their veins like blood, the only power that keeps them alive. They reproduce every twist of negativity, like a cycle that grows with each step. Every action they make sparks a cyclone of disturbance, leaving devastation in their path without a second thought. Relationships for them are not bridges of love or respect. Instead, they serve as tools for control, battlefields. They trap others, causing chaos and uncertainty to weaken them in these relationships, which they transform into battlegrounds. They act like strategists, with each maneuver intended to sow the seeds of disaster. They enjoy the stormy world they have created, feasting off the chaos. They magnify. Their provocations have become the fuel for the ongoing instability they cultivate, sowing seeds of unrest with each encounter. As the seeds grow, they create a huge conflict landscape that draws people in from all around. They enjoy disturbing the balance around them by injecting drama to each move. This turmoil is their playground. The more chaos they cause, the more powerful they feel at the center of the storm. Everything appears to revolve around them, but in truth, they are a vortex that eats all of the quiet around them. You have, however, managed to leave this vortex. You stand in a silent shelter from their violent storms. You are no longer caught up in the mayhem they cause because you have chosen your own power and calm over entering the dark hole. They try to entice you into watching their drama-filled building from the outside as they lose themselves in the chaos. You keep your peace with every interaction. You are aware of their attempts to drag you into the dramatic swirl. Their storms fuel their drive to savor each moment. They steal from you. However, drama and disorder no longer have any effect over you. Their winds cannot carry you away. You shine like a star, illuminating the sky and the peaceful environment you have created. Beyond the chaos, you soar in order and harmony. The stage's balance has shifted drastically. When you lose the connection and stop being a willing participant, they become fascinated with a force within them that they cannot touch. There is an uncontrollable void, and they can't stop looking at you, even from a distance. This fixation builds like a raging fire within them, consuming them since they have no control over it. They can't let go as they move away from you. They reflect on their loss and become imprisoned in their own minds. Resentment has been created. Their desire for your presence now haunts them like a tormented shadow. Their minds are locked in a never-ending circle. This power, which they can no longer impact or control, has taken over their entire cognitive process. They can no longer control, provoke, or guide you. This absence redirected their focus on their own souls, a wound that won't heal. Every day, the resentment they sought to force on you has grown into a poison that corrodes their souls from within. They must endure increasing anguish with each step. This poison strengthens the walls of the prison they erected, luring them deeper inside. You severed relationships, costing them the dying light of their own existence. Cutting the connection has eliminated their ability to project bad energy onto you. This energy has now boomeranged back at them. They're drowning in their own venom, washed away by their own darkness, and can't manage or control you. It corrodes them from the inside. Although they may feel a desire to affect you again, this hunger has merely turned into a tornado churning within them, poised to consume them whole. You are now separated from this darkness, standing steadfast as the defender of your own serenity, free of its harmful cycles. You sow new seedlings in your soul's tranquil garden. You've restored your borders, strengthened your defenses, and kept their nasty energy from entering your world again. From this point forward, your light shines high enough that their shadows cannot reach, while they drown in their own might. You continue to shine in your own light. The balances have tumbled like shattered mountains when you cut ties and avoid from participating in their games. They became preoccupied with a presence that they could not touch, even at a distance. They have difficulty breathing if they are not focused on your energies. This preoccupation has grown into a hungry beast within them, unmanageable as they attempt to traverse their own labyrinth, resulting in resentment and hatred. They encounter your image at every turn, yet are unable to manipulate you. The lack of control they have over you grows into a wound that gnaws at them within. This pain, like an impenetrable bleeding wound, grows within their thoughts and consumes them. The hatred and anger they feel for you has turned into an unstoppable poison, consuming their own souls. When you cut the link, you eliminated their desire for your reactions by leaving them in their own darkness and trapping them within the frigid walls of the emptiness they created. You abandoned pandemonium for the harbor of quiet, and this decision drove them insane. They're lost in their own games. The storm is helpless in the face of your clarity. This storm, however, cannot reach you because you are in a hallowed sanctuary. You built yourself. It shines like a light in the sky. You produce a glow that cannot be dimmed. You protect your energy by limiting who can enter the doors of this strong castle you've built while remaining distant. Their obsessions exacerbate the bad energy they threw at you, which is now turned back on themselves, producing a raging flame that consumes them. The inability to cross your boundaries fuels this flame. They become further lost within themselves as time passes. You have lost the capacity to manipulate them. Control over you develops into a wound that corrodes them inwardly. This pain is like a never-ending, bleeding wound that swells within their minds, consuming them. Their hatred and rage for you have turned into an unhealed poison, consuming their own souls. By cutting the link, you deprive them of the capacity to reflect their negative energy onto you. This energy is now returning like a boomerang, striking them. They're drowning in their own venom, washed away by their own darkness, and can't manage or control you. It corrodes them from the inside. Although they may feel a desire to affect you again, this hunger has merely turned into a tornado spinning within them, ready to engulf them whole. You are now separated from this darkness, standing steadfast as the defender of your own serenity, free of its harmful cycles. You sow new seedlings in your soul's tranquil garden. You've restored your borders, strengthened your defenses, and kept their nasty energy from entering your world again. From this point forward, your light shines high enough that their shadows cannot reach, while they drown in their own might. You continue to shine in your own light. This force is like the walls of a fortress rising from a mountain, unshakable and completely yours. An impassable barrier. Choosing your own calm is like a ship shifting course in a stormy sea. You have clearly chosen your course and are navigating the waves. Your determination is like a treasure map in which you have uncovered your own worth. Staying away from their wild storms demonstrates how well you've created your own harbor. You no longer have to get entangled in their dark whirlpools or drown in their chaotic universe. You remain firm in the hallowed sanctuary. You made yourself impervious to the depths of your heart. Only those who elevate you and truly understand your true worth can pass through the doors of this formidable castle. Your tenacity, like a ship breaking through massive waves, has carried you beyond their reach, establishing an unbreakable standard as you walk forward with steady steps. This is now your home, and with the power and wisdom that you possess, you remain committed to your path. Their influence is comparable to dried leaves blown away by the wind. Memories have faded and are now insignificant. You don't direct the wind, you direct the wind itself. If you've made it this far, please join us by clicking the join button and become a part of the community of the only shining ones in the infinite cosmos.